Welcome back, everyone. Today we dive deep into the world of Giselle. Yeah, that timeless ballet where ghosts, betrayal, and a ballerina dancing between worlds still capture hearts.
I love it, especially when you consider how modern productions are either channeling a raw supernatural vibe or exploring that psychological, emotional turmoil. It's fascinating.
Absolutely. And we've seen companies really split their approaches now. Some go full-on spirit mode with hyper-stylized visuals. Think fog, digital projections, drones, while others really focus on the delicate intricacies of Giselle's heartbreak and psychological breakdown. It's like, each production asks, how do we best capture her inner world?
Exactly. And it's not just the aesthetic. This divergence affects everything from choreography to lighting design. It makes you wonder, which interpretation truly resonates with you?
Yeah, that's the big debate, isn't it? One moment you're seeing ghostly Wilis floating through an ethereal haze, and in another, you're focusing on Giselle's inner emotional landscape. So raw, so human, both have their magic.
I mean, think about it. Act 2 has such an iconic history. Back in 1841, Carlotta Grisi had to use pure technique and emotion, while now some troupes add suspension wires or LED costumes. Does this added spectacle risk overshadowing that emotional core? Or deepen the ethereal experience?
That's a crucial point. It's like, can you really blend raw, unfiltered emotion with, say, high-tech enhancements? Some argue that using tech like ghostly projections simply amplifies the magic, but others worry it might cloud the dancer's own narrative.
Right.
It's a delicate balance.
True. And speaking of balance, what about the idea of the ballerina's interpretive space in Act 2? There's buzz about whether the dancer should lead the narrative solely through emotional nuance, or let these high-tech fancy moves take center stage.
Oh, for sure. Remember seeing those online masterclasses where dancers use minimal yet expressive arm movements that practically speak volumes? It shows that even subtle moves can convey forgiveness and heartbreak without any digital embellishments.
But then, I wonder, don't we risk diluting the tradition if we lean too much into modern techniques? I mean, isn't there a risk of tampering with something that has been perfected over centuries?
That's a fair critique. Yet, a few companies are experimenting with just a touch of modern flair, like using slow-motion projections that mimic memory, layering new visual narratives over the classic choreography. It's almost like a conversation between the old and the new, a respectful evolution.
Right, exactly. Plus, there's the question of Giselle as Ballet Blanc. Traditionally, the pure white costumes symbolized unembellished elegance. But now, with some staging opting for soft pastels or light grays, it begs the question, does changing the palette compromise that tradition, or simply affirm its vibrancy in today's world?
Yes, when I saw that TikTok clip of a dancer donning pastel-tinted tulle, I thought, is this sacrilege? But then the fan responses were so mixed. Some loved the fresh look, others insisted heritage must stand as is. It shows how tradition and innovation are always in a healthy tug-of-war.
And we can't ignore the technical side of things. The idea that modern enhancements can help emerging artists access this classic more easily. A Dutch company recently tried using harness-powered lifts, so Giselle literally glides across the stage. It creates this spellbinding effect, but there were voices missing that same palpable tension in the control of her movements.
Right. It's like that constant push and pull. Do we preserve the original delicate challenge or push for a bolder, maybe even more accessible production? Personally, I love how experimental the new takes are. They breathe fresh life into the narrative without completely erasing history, but it's definitely a risk one has to carefully manage.
Totally. And then there's storytelling. Some choreographers are even expanding the narrative. Imagine if we got to see a prologue for Queen Myrtha's backstory, or explore Albrecht's perspective a bit more. It's like Swan Lake's evolution, right? But then again, it could also shift the spotlight away from Giselle herself.
Exactly. Balance is key here too. While fleshing out supporting characters can give the audience richer context, think of a vignette where Myrtha laments her lost wedding or Mary wandering alone. It must always circle back to Giselle. Otherwise, it becomes a narrative about everyone else instead.
Right.
The focus must remain on her emotional journey.
That's an interesting tension, and I really appreciate how these modern productions are simultaneously a tribute to tradition and an invitation to innovate. It's almost like every production becomes a dialogue with history.
True. It's this ongoing conversation where every new interpretation is not just a retelling, but a dialogue that spans centuries. The core themes of betrayal, forgiveness, and ethereal beauty remain constant, no matter the fancy projections or modern choreography. It's truly a timeless piece.
Yeah, I love that perspective. And while some might say that adding modern elements risks the pure romantic tradition, others argue that the emotional core shines brighter when connected to today's aesthetics. Like, you can have soft pastels or even digital fog, but if it makes you feel that ancient heartbreak, it works.
Right, and here's where the debate really heats up. Does the technology help illuminate the ballet's themes, or, as one critic put it, stack the deck in favor of surface-level spectacle? It's like designing a stage where every tool must serve the story, not just dazzle. And that's a respectful challenge to traditionalists who might shy away from any alteration.
Speaking of challenges, I've noticed that some of the more radical reinterpretations are drawing both applause and criticism. Some say that any deviation from the pure technical control of the original approach dilutes the genius of Carlotta Grisi's performance.
That's true. Yet there's also a case for evolution, where the essence of the performance, its emotional intensity, is amplified by these new techniques. It's like updating a classic novel into a modern film adaptation. Some purists might frown, but others see it as essential for keeping the story alive. It's a valid argument from both sides.
Right on. And interestingly, these debates are echoing within rehearsal rooms and ballet forms everywhere. It's not just about the visuals, but about the soul of the performance as interpreted by the dancer and the creative team.
Absolutely. And even as we chat about these modern twists, it's clear that Giselle remains a canvas, a mirror reflecting different eras and artistic sensibilities. Whether you favor spectral tech or a stripped-back, raw emotional display, Giselle's narrative endures, constantly inviting interpretation. It's that adaptability that makes it forever relevant.
So, to wrap it up, we're looking at 5 major points driving the conversation today. First, the supernatural versus psychological narrative tension. Second, the level of interpretive freedom afforded to the ballerina in Act 2. Then, the enduring notion of ballet blanc amidst modern color splashes. Fourth, the balance between innovative, technical choreography and preserving tradition. And finally, the possibility of expanding the narrative itself.
That's it. And each point sparks a dialogue not just about technique and tech, but about how we engage with art, about making a groundbreaking piece live on with each generation. It's really a conversation through time, where modern audiences can finally make the classic their own. Such a dynamic exchange.
Yeah, for sure. And it's these evolving interpretations that not only keep Giselle fresh, but also deepen its historic resonance. It's like a ballet that's alive, perpetually dancing between what it was and what it could be.
Exactly. And it's thrilling to see how every modern rendition asks, how do we honor the past without stifling new creativity? That's what makes each production a unique conversation with its audience. And that conversation is what truly captivates us all.
I completely agree. Whether you lean towards the mesmerizing ghostly effects or crave the raw intensity of stripped-back performance, Giselle continues to invite us to experience its layered beauty. It reminds us that art evolves, yet its core, the pulse of human emotion, remains timeless.
As we head out today, I think it's safe to say that no matter what direction you take with Giselle, it's the melding of history and modern innovation that keeps the dialogue vibrant. And hey, each production is like a new chapter in an ever-unfolding story. That enduring spirit is what makes Giselle, well, unforgettable.
Absolutely. I love how this debate isn't just about choreography or technology. It's about emotion, tradition, innovation, and a respectful nod to the ghosts of the past, dancing with the dreams of today.
Well said. And as always, whether you're team spectral spectacle or team stripped-back passion, Giselle offers a canvas for both reverence and revolution. Keep those debates alive. They're what make art, and ballet specifically, so endlessly engaging. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for diving into these intricate themes with me. It's been an enlightening conversation about how, even centuries later, a classic can continually reinvent itself.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Keep questioning, keep dancing between worlds, and celebrate the beauty of both tradition and transformation. Until next time.